So we are back working on the Skyline. Once again, you guys already know this car is really trashy. It was beat on way before I even got a hold of it. And there's a reason why I made a video. But yeah, we are actually working on the R32 Skyline. And essentially our biggest issue right now, that's also a very common issue with these, is turn signals. We have no turn signals whatsoever on this, and it did work at one point, but for some odd reason it just stopped working. And so we're going to dive a little into it and to see exactly what's the issue. And then we also have an HVAC issue as well with it. So yeah, there's quite a bit we got to fix, and hopefully I can get it fixed today before a car meet. So to start off with the turn signal issue, essentially this left one here isn't working. The right one does turn on now for all of a sudden, which is really strange because it never did that before, and I noticed it the other day. But when we come into the cabin, I've replaced this turn signal switch right here in front. I've already replaced that. I have not replaced this, but this works just fine. Everything comes on, no issues with that. Now, this issue did start, and I don't know if anybody remembers, this whole harness right here got rubbed up on. We replaced that harness, or we didn't replace it, but we temporarily fixed it. So, or I wouldn't say temporarily fixed it, we permanently fixed it. So up and in there, there's a harness that sits right up and in here. And if you drive a lower Skyline, I would highly recommend fixing that. But yeah, we had to put that harness up and above this lip right up and in here, and that's fixed it. All the wires are connected properly. But ever since we've done that, we have since lost essentially turn signals in this R32. And I'm not really sure if it's because of the wiring that I fixed, if there's something that I might have wired wrong. So I went in and took that whole fender back off and re-looked at all the wires, made sure everything was connected that rubbed, and it all looked good. So I'm in the cabin now thinking that maybe something shorted out because it rubbed and it grounded itself off, and something's fried up and in here. So I was able to find 3 relays that, well, 2 of them were blown out. So the bottom 2 were blown out. This top one here looked a little funky, so I'm gonna swap it out anyway. But yeah, we found these 2 that were blown out, and then this one that looked just a little funky. And so in between the 2 tins right here was one of them, and then the other 2 tins, and then the one above that one as well was also blown out, or it looked a little funky. So we're gonna replace those first. If they pop again, then more than likely it's something deep within the wiring or something like that. So yeah, we're gonna start with that first and then go from there. So I have since replaced these relays here, or fuses here. This relay here I've already replaced because I've heard this goes bad, but I've also heard that little like ding that sits like right here. It's like a yellow box. I heard if that also can cause it to blow fuses as well, because it powers off of this. So I've unplugged that, and I've also unplugged up front the headlight that was out. And then this one here I haven't unplugged, but we're going to see if these blow it first. So essentially, when I have all my lights turned on, it's not dinging because again, that thing's unplugged, and that's a key issue. But essentially, if I turn these, you can hear it already. It blew. I heard it blow, and it's not doing nothing now. So more than likely, and I have a sneaking suspicion, it's probably this guy, because my high beams aren't showing, and I've had that problem in the past where my high beam light would not show when I click this. So I have a sneaking suspicion this guy's probably went bad again. It's causing all my fuses to blow, and it probably blew out when it rubbed up front. So yeah, more than likely it's this guy. Upon further inspection underneath here, this one over here to the far left did not blow since unplugging this box down here, and then also unplugging that turn signal up front. The other one though, right here where this green one is, I've replaced it. This one did blow, and I also replaced it with the 30 amp, and it's kind of ironic because now, let's see here, when you do it, so we still have you can't see the high beams at all. But the high beams I know for a fact are working, which is kind of strange. But you can see when I do left turn signal, boom, works just fine. Right turn signal though, it like lags, and then look at your battery light, or your battery gauge. It also bounces, which is kind of strange, and it's very dim compared to the left one where you can see it's much brighter. And like I said, there's no high beam. I'm using it. It's not turning on whatsoever, and it'll be like right here, that little middle gauge. Of course, my camera is having a hard time focusing, but yeah. So I wouldn't really call that 30 amp a fix at all by any means. For now though, it's just gonna be a band-aid until I'm able to find a headlight switch, because they're very expensive, whether it's used or new, and especially with all the tariffs right now going on, prices are outrageous, and I can't really get them off like a 300 or 240, sadly. So it is what it is. Gonna have to go find one for like probably 300 bucks, which is kind of insanely overpriced. Maybe 150 if it's used, but more than likely it's probably just gonna go bad on me again. With that though, we are going to get into my AC system, because right now the vents on the top are not blowing whatsoever. So my defoggers essentially are not blowing whatsoever. That's another big issue. So I have like a towel like on my top of my yeah, brain fart. Anyway, I have a towel sitting up on top of my dash, and essentially I gotta wipe it every single time if it's a little warm up here or cold, raining. It's weird, but I'm gonna try to get in there and fix it. They're actually super easy to fix. All you really have to do for like your little like blend door actuators, pop them open, clean up all the old crusty electrical grease, you know, make sure you scrub it real nice and good, because it is just a copper, and essentially just put in new electrical grease. And yeah, it's really easy, really simple. But yeah, that's what I'm going to go try to find, which blend door actuator is not working and which one is working, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it's super simple. It's not buried. I don't have to take apart this whole entire dash, because I've seen other videos of that stuff. Yeah, fingers crossed. So, a little update with the HVAC system. Essentially, I thought it was over here, because most ways to access your HVAC and your motors is actually all like right and open here. So usually you have to remove the glove box and everything, but the way the Skyline is designed, it's actually like your blower motors right there, your blower motor resistors right there, and it's only controlled by one motor. And I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. Let me get a flashlight here real quick. So that big long gear right there that you guys see, and I'm holding both the camera and the flashlight, so I won't be able to point to it or anything, but this big long like star, like throwing star figure, essentially is what controls all of your HVAC. And it's actually not controlled by blend door motors at all, but actually just this one motor right here, which has the white cable connected to it, and that's what controls your whole entire HVAC system. So I had to manually move this whole entire system to get it to shoot up. It actually doesn't blow on the foot walls or anything. It doesn't move whatsoever. So more than likely, this motor here is shot. I'm gonna see if I can get something like this on a 300ZX or 240SX. I'm gonna remove this. For the temporary time though, I just manually moved it upwards and pushed it up to get it to shoot out through the vents up top instead. But yeah, more than likely it's this motor, because I tried all different modes. This motor didn't move whatsoever. I didn't even hear it turn. All my fuses and relays are good since I checked it for the headlights and everything. But yeah, more than likely it's probably just as simple as that stupid little motor right there, and with it being old and by the footwell, it probably got all the dirt and gummed up and everything. I'm gonna see if I can try to fix it, but I thought it was just blend doors that used all of this, but nope, it's not. It's just that little motor. So I'm gonna take that out, keep it how it is for now. But yeah, it's honestly kind of weird to see it all controlled by just simply a small little motor. Just one motor too. And here's like a little example. I don't actually have a piece of paper. Actually, yeah, I do. So we'll use this as a little test thing. This is what I got for my timing kit. But as you guys can see, it's blowing it perfectly fine. But when I change the modes, you can see it's on the footwells. And well, there's nothing happening at the footwells. So let me change it over to these vents. Still nothing, and they are open. So there's nothing whatsoever. More than likely, it's probably just that motor down there that's gone bad. But like I said, you can see it blowing just a tiny, tiny bit, even though it's on these vents. So more than likely, it's just that little motor down there. So we're gonna take that apart, pop it open, see if it's dirty, and see if we can get it to work. If not, see what we can find as far as a replacement. We were able to get it out. Essentially, we're going to use this as so this is how it'll sit. And all you could do, there's 3 bolts. They're both all of them are 8mm, and you're gonna get this one on the very top left, very top right, and then there should be a bottom one right here sitting on the bottom right as well. And essentially, looking at it as of right now, it doesn't look too dirty. There's a little dust and dirt, but we're gonna pop this open, see if it is just as simple as a
motor that I could like just bronze tabs and clean it up and put new electrical grease in it, or if it's something where it's a little more complicated and actually just have to replace it. We were able to pop it open. You got to be really careful. These tabs are like, you know, as old as they are, you got to be careful. I've broken many tabs like these on other units before, but you got a total of, let's see, 2, 4, 5 tabs on these. You just got to go one by one and just kind of slowly pry on it upwards. But like I said, just be really careful. These tabs are thin and they're old, but you can see like there's some old grease in there, and then as simple as something like that can just cause it to stop working. And you can see it's all cracked. I don't know if it'll show. Yep, there you go. Yeah, it's all cracked up and everything. So I'm gonna spray it off with some brake cleaner. But I think the issue is a little bit more than that, and I don't know if it'll pick up on camera, but right there it looks like it's a little bit of rust spot or corrosion or something. Right here where my thumb is pointing, there's like a brown speck right there, and something as simple as that could probably more than likely cause it to stop working as well. There's also some little bit below as well, some brown specks on there, but other than that it looks pretty solid. We're going to try to clean it up at least, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that'll do the trick. But more than likely that brown little speck is what's causing that issue. Now we got it freshly installed. It is set basically to factory. Fingers crossed this should work now, but we're gonna give it a try here real quick. And yeah, upon turning it on, it is blowing out the vents. Let me grab my piece of paper. So you can see it's blowing out the vents. You can see the paper flapping. Let's see. I heard it change for a brief second, but it's still blowing out those vents. So more than likely that motor is shot completely. There's no fixing it whatsoever. I've changed the thing. It's not blowing whatsoever up front out there. Yeah, it's not blown whatsoever. So I think what I'm gonna just do is disconnect it for now. Same thing that I did with this as a temporary fix until I find the part. It looks like Nissan does still make them, and they are stupidly expensive. It's like $250. But yeah, that kind of sucks. I was hoping it'd just be a simple fix. Sometimes you can get away with doing like aligning them back into position. Did it on my Lexus, works just fine. But yeah, definitely not the biggest win for me whatsoever. I'm at least able to tell what exactly is wrong with the car, as far as headlight switch and the AC system down there below is what it is. Stuff's stupidly expensive. I made a video on this as to why you should not buy a Skyline, because this is the issue. The electronics, the motor is amazing, don't get me wrong, but the electronics in here are just very cheaply made, and they do not last whatsoever. I've gone through a lot of these parts that I've replaced over the years, brand new, and it really just comes down to all of the electronics, truly and honestly. With that being said though, we got the electronics all done and dusted. We know what's wrong with it, we know what to fix and what's broke on it. What I'm going to fix now is the rear camber on this. The control arms that I've installed, essentially they're a little off-putting, or I should say they got a negative camber and it's wearing out my rear tire. So I'm going to show you guys that real quick, and then what we're going to do on how to fix it. All we're just going to do is probably back it out 2-3 times and it should be leveled out, because it is pretty damn leveled, but there's still a little bit of camber that I don't really like too much. But yeah, so if we come down to it, you guys can see it is really worn down on this side here, but there's plenty of grip closest to here. And all we're going to do is right where that gold control arm is, we're just going to turn it like 2-3 times, disconnect it right up and in there, turn it 2-3 times, and it should balance this out a little bit better. I might do maybe 4 turns in total. I just got these actually, so I'm kind of happy with ISR. They're a really great brand. If you guys have not used them, I use them pretty damn common on this car. I have front suspension on them, and then have the rear ones as well. With the car jacked up, the wheel off, you guys can kind of see it a little bit more better here. A lot of rubbage on here. There's still some good tread left, honestly. I just gotta bounce this guy out over here. All I'm gonna do is take that bolt off in the back right there, and then add this. This guy should be enough to just push it out more this way. and we should be good. I did get it done. It probably took me about 20 minutes, but honestly, judging by the look of this angle here, it looks pretty close. It probably needs one more turn, but 2 turns is about as max as it's going to get, because without that, it's going to be absolute horrible to get the bolt on this side right here. So this bolt right here is about the only one I can adjust, because it's a pain in the butt to get that back one back there. But yeah, it's only going to be 2 turns per side. So this side already did the 2 turns, and essentially I got the other bolt, that bolt right back there. I forget what it's called, but essentially it's like the washer's thinner on one side but bigger on the other, so I can adjust that a little bit, and that'll probably help even out this side right here. I'm gonna put the tire on this side and see exactly what we got for this one, and then we'll probably do the same on the other. It looks a little bit better. Honestly though, it does look like it got positive camber, which is actually a good thing, because when I lower this, essentially it'll probably still divot down a little bit, just because of all the weight on the one side here, and then as the spacer that we have in there. But it does kind of fit pretty well with our body kit now, which it used to not. Let me lower this side real quick and see what we can get. I lowered it some. It does still have a little bit of camber to it, but nothing too aggressive. It actually honestly sits a lot better, and I really like the look of it. Now it probably still does need like an inch spacer or something like that, or ½ inch I think is what I measured, to get actually decent fitment. But other than that, it don't look all that bad.
Honestly, not terrible looking. I mean, truly, it actually does have a tiny bit of camber. Again, I can adjust it with that bolt in the back there. I forget what it's called. I'm throwing blanks for some odd reason. But anyway, it's not bad. It does still have some gap. I mean, it's going to have that. These sedans and wide bodies, from what I've been told from a couple of my friends, they don't really get too much lower than this. I mean, sadly, it's just like without chopping the complete door, it's really hard. The coupes though, they're easily, you can lower those a lot better. The sedans though, I mean, it's kind of a lost cause. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the other side just like this one, and hopefully that'll be one of the final pieces I have to do to this car. So after all day of working on the Skyline, and I cannot make this up, I seriously cannot make this up, the car has just broke down once again. I don't even know why. I was literally just letting it warm up, getting it ready for the car show, and sure enough, it just stalls exactly like it did last time. So I don't know. I think it's the ECU probably. There's a high chance, because for some odd reason my ECUs like to get fried all the time, and usually I get 3 years out of them, and it seems like I only got a couple months out of this one. But I swapped it real quick. We're gonna try to start it one more time. If it works, it works. More than likely I probably will not take it to the car show, but I cannot make this up. It is unbelievable with this car. Like, I'm lost for words, truly.
All right, you guys can see the 3 ECUs. Now I think only one of them work at this point anymore. I don't even know. Yeah, who knows? We're gonna try that one first and see what that one does, and then if that one don't do anything, we'll try the other one. And yeah, that one we already know the top one's that's the one that was just in the car running just fine. So who knows, but we're gonna try that one first, then the other one.
It's actually shaking too, which is weird. It never shakes this bad. Yeah, still nothing. Oh, that's new.
All right, let's try the other ECU here real quick. We'll try to knock out the ECU issues, see if that's the issue, and then if not, I'm honestly going to go take a break. Got the other ECU, the last one. Let's see what it does. If it starts, then I'm gonna... It made a weird noise. It is tweaking. I don't know if that picked it up on camera, but I've never heard my ECU ever make that noise. That was weird. That's strange. Anyway. Oh. You gotta be kidding me. Another fried ECU. Another fried ECU. Bro, that one's trash because it throws knock sensor codes when it warms up. I know that for a fact. That's the original one. That one's trashed. Oh my days. No.
No. That is kind of sad. Like, I don't know why it fries ECUs. The one that's in there right now currently throws a knock sensor code when it warms up. So I'm gonna let it warm up and see what it does, exactly like I did last time. But yeah, nope, another ECU is fried, and what sucks is that ECU was actually a tuned ECU that I didn't even know was tuned. So I'm gonna reach out to the company, see what they say about it, see if they can fix it, give me a replacement, because I'm pretty sure I have a 1-year warranty with it, and I didn't do anything to it but just plug it in. So yeah, the Skyline's running again, but it's not on a healthy ECU. I might have to go standalone. I don't have money for a standalone, so it's probably going to be sitting for quite some time. And honestly, it just seems fitting for this video because, you know, headlight switch is about $200-300. The motor is about another $200-300, and a standalone with a harness and everything is probably an additional $1,000 plus, and not including tuning. So, is what it is. Things happen, I guess, but that just sucks, truly.
I'm not gonna lie, I almost just had an electrical fire. I don't know what, like, bad juju is on me right now,
But this wire, like, I'm sitting here trying to get the throttle position sensor set to an exact, like, thing. So, like, I'm already having issues with the car. But this wire is, like, down here that connects to this AC thing. This sensor is, like, really hot to a touch, and it actually burns. And then, like, the connector to it was smoking. And I was like, oh, shit, what the fuck is smoke? Like, bro, what is going on? Am I, like... I have to be, like, pranked right now on a reality TV show, because there's just no way... Like, so much stuff is just going wrong for no reason whatsoever.
Like, I honestly am just baffled, because I'm like literally like smelling something burning, and I look down below me and there's smoke just pouring out of that little sensor connector, and I'm just like, what in the world is going on with my car? It's like catastrophic failure, but not really. It's just I don't know. I think I need to go take a break, because like I'm getting a killer headache right now because of all of this, and I'm just like, oh, my head is spinning. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go take a break, honestly. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, I know I said I'd stop fucking with the car, and it's giving me a headache, but okay, what the fuck is going on? Because look, my turn signal is working just fine. That's crazy. It's blinking just the same color. But previously, it wasn't blinking that same color, and it was like, look, my battery gauge ain't even doing nothing no more. What the fuck is going on? There's just no way. It's just working like it's normal. What the fuck is... Yeah, nah, I gotta take a break, because this is trippy, bro. Like, I don't even know... I don't know where to go. Like, I am so lost for words as to what is going on right now, because this gotta be a joke. Like, there's just no way, and I'm not even making this up. Like, truly and honestly, I'm not making this up whatsoever. So the fact that my turn signals are working, and yeah, I guess, yeah, because this makes sense. Nissan things, you know, duh. I'm calling it a day. This is making my head spin even worse now. All right. Last time, I promise. But what? Now it's the old ECU. That ECU, that's the original one. It started just fine. Now look, it's not starting it at all. Bro, what is going on? This is weird. This is strange. I think, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm confused. I'm gonna go bed on this one. I'll see you guys tomorrow, because I am stumped.
Well, it's the next day. We are sad. I'm very, very tired. I've kind of stood up a little bit all night, or stayed up all night to try to find some answers. I even messaged some people on the Facebook group chat that I'm in, as well as the Instagram group chat. So far right now, it's what we're going to be checking is essentially whether we have ground to the ECU. That's probably a big issue, and essentially if we're still having these symptoms, it's probably more than likely that. I'm gonna double check some other things, such as timing. Even though I did do it and I know I did it right, I'm gonna double check it. It's better safe than sorry. Yesterday, after the camera, I did rip out the LS coils as well, put in the old coils, still nothing. So we're gonna try some extra parts that we have here laying around. The cast sensor is good, I spun it, everything like that. Essentially though, we're gonna go check ground, make sure the ECU has ground, and hopefully that's it. I don't know. But yeah, let's go find out.
All right, so it's been 4 or 5 hours of me working on the Skyline. No updates whatsoever, honestly. It is kind of sad, kind of heartbreaking. But I think, honestly, what I'm going to do is take out the harness and just go through it wire by wire, see if there's any breaks, do ohm test, everything like that, see if anything's getting volted that shouldn't be getting voltage, stuff like that. So that's what we're in the process of doing. I've replaced like pretty much stuff that I've had spares of, and no luck whatsoever. Spark plugs looked a little nasty, so we'll have to replace those as well. But I think, sadly, I think it's the harness, and a wiring specialties harness is about $800. And no offense, I do not feel like spending $800 on the R32.
Well, that didn't work. We tried the other harness I have laying around here, still nothing. I think I'm debating whether to buy another ECU or just tear this motor out and throw in what I've been thinking of for a long time and would probably be better for me, an LS. And you're probably wondering why an LS?
The reason why I'm thinking LS for the Skyline is because parts are 10 times cheaper. RB parts are not cheap. I mean, it's kind of crazy already what I'm paying for parts sometimes, and just for a simple repair, which is usually about $1,000 plus sometimes, depending on what it is. Like an ECU is usually easily $200-300, and it gets ridiculous. And again, the electronics are very trashy on these cars, and I can't like say that enough in all my videos. The electronics on these cars are trashy. So I think best bet, we might just pull the engine and get rid of it, because again, it is just an RB20DE. There's no power to be made out of this car whatsoever. It's slow. It looks fast, sure, but it is so slow. The RB20DE, even if I was to put a T on it, the turbo kit, whatever you want to call it, it wouldn't really give me much power to regardless. It's still just a 20. And honestly, unless it's a 25, which I thought about the idea, but again, I'm looking for something a little bit more cheaper, a little bit more easier to fix, parts that I can go get, say at Advance, O'Reilly's, or AutoZone. And well, an LS is just simple as that. I can go get it at a junkyard or any of those auto parts stores. This probably will be pretty much it for the Skyline. I mean, honestly, it's kind of sad to see it sit, but I mean, it's sat most of its life. It barely, like, there's so many things wrong with it in general. And honestly, I'm gonna have to wait, build up some money, maybe go grab an LS and just tinker on it here and there. But other than that, guys, I think that's gonna do it for today's video. It is kind of a sad one. I'm definitely like kind of emotionally, like my energy's just not there anymore for it. And yeah, I'm gonna probably think on this one for a little bit. But yeah, with that being said, guys, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.